Hi, intuitive viewers. Thanks for coming today. So this is just a me video. I feel like I've put up a couple of interviews. I hope you guys enjoyed those. I like to change it up a little bit to, I don't know, cleanse our palate from all the Trump stuff. And just to, my view is if I come across something good, nice, it should be expanded. So I just try to put it out there, and I hope you take advantage of checking those things out. I did want to do just a few quick prayer requests, if that's okay. The first one is kind of unusual. It's for Melanie. Melanie, and maybe this is also a warning to the rest of us, but Melanie was scammed out of $10,000 from their retirement fund in just a scam that came in online. And she felt so guilty. I said, don't feel guilty, because they're getting so much more sophisticated. And so they're getting so good at this stuff. So I know I fell for one time. Luckily, it wasn't a money one. It was just kind of like, I want to take over your computer one. But it can happen, it can happen. So, if you can send out prayers to Melanie, and maybe a prayer of some kind of manifestation of getting their money back in some way. If it's not back from this person, that it will come back to them in some form. It was of no fault of theirs. And so I just feel like, for the scammer, the universe is on it, and I do feel like when you've innocently been taken advantage of, that there is a correction that happens. So maybe just pray for that to be returned to them in some way, so that they can put that back into their retirement. So it's awful and terrible. And these things, they happen, right? We had the biggest scammer of all in the White House. These things happen. Okay. So the second one is for Joyce, who has stage 4 lymphoma. Prayers are needed for her in California. Please pray for her and her health, and send love and light that she will be free from suffering, pain, and will have her health restored. And also we asked for prayers for Steve. A family member contacted me and asked for prayers for Steve in Michigan. He is having emotional and psychological challenges right now. So, and I know there are healers that are kind of specify that kind of work. They're very in tune with it. So any emotional, psychological, that kind of, mental illness, that kind of thing, healers out there that want to zero in on Steve in Michigan, that would be just great. So prayers to all these wonderful people. And, these things are, life is like that, right? It's a topsy-turvy thing that can be totally fine one minute, horrible the next, wonderful the next. It's a roller coaster, right? And the more we can maintain and be connected to that peaceful part of us that's connected to spirit, the more we'll be able to weather the shifts and the changes. You find out very quickly how connected you really are when something like that happens, right? You figure out, okay, I'm more untethered than I thought, and it's a good, all of these stories and all of these things that we're being asked to be aware of are good reminders for all of us to make sure that we're very in tune and in touch with the present moment, and we're maintaining that part, that connection to that part of us that's connected to our guides, to whatever you want to say, spirit, the universe, God. So it's a good reminder for all of us. Okay. So thank you for that. And I'm going to go into a couple of messages I got that I wanted to share with you. One is about the coronavirus, and I was getting a lot of calls this week and last week that were along the same lines. It was interesting. A lot of families, like not only split because of the coronavirus, but also split emotionally through fights, arguments because of the political situation. We're not seeing certain family members, and then just family rifts, things like that. A lot of that. And I asked my guides, why? What is going on here? There's obviously a bigger thing going on here. And the answer that I got was that so much of the coronavirus and this time is about it's about a lot of things, because there's a lot of lessons, obviously, but one of the big ones is about separation and connection. And I kind of, dug into this a little bit with my guides, and the example of how important we understand physical touch to be now. Not being able to hug our parents, our grandparents, not being able to see our kids. I can speak to that, not being able to hug my Cassie for a year. And it's not that we all took it for granted, but we did in a way. We just always thought we can hug this person, be this person. And a lot of times that kind of thing will become apparent when someone passes away. You miss that physicalness of them. You know that they're around you spiritually. And if you're in tune to spirit, you can feel them in that way. But the physical touch is different. And it's part of the reason we're even on earth, is to have a physical experience. So when that is rocked or taken away, it does leave a hole. It leaves something that feels like it's lacking. And so part of this experience of living through the coronavirus and all that it had to offer us in the way of lessons, one of the big ones is the importance of connection and physical touch, physical connection, being near people, being by people, not taking that for granted. And also, when we do have it, appreciating it even more, leaning into it, being present with it, right? When you're in a hurry and you're leaving, okay, hug goodbye, da, da, da. No, take a second and feel that hug. That's what this is about. And although that it might seem like some people, it seems like a big thing. To me, it seems like a big thing. Some people might think that that's a little lesson. But when you think of all of the connections with other people you have in your lifetime, it's a huge lesson and a huge, say, a warning. It's a reminder. It's a reminder to us to embrace those things that we have when we have them. Whether it's people, opportunities, even gathering together in a crowd. Right? I think of all my fun experiences at concerts, that it was one of those places where I felt a real group connection. When a whole group of people was singing together, you probably feel that at the ballpark. If you've ever been to the ballpark, it's that feeling of just this big energy that's connecting all of us at even just a moment, even through one song. It's an incredible feeling that you can't really get any other way as a human being. So that's part of what this was about, is realizing that those things are important and that they serve a purpose. They really do. So they serve a purpose in every way, mentally, physically, spiritually. So that was one big thing, and why I was getting all of these very different types of separations, with people. And what they were talking about is that this is happening on a micro level and a macro level. So in our little lives, we're having little separations of, I'm mad at you, or, you think this about Trump and I think this about Trump, so we can't talk anymore. Those kinds of things are going on with this bigger coronavirus thing going on as well. So it's teaching us little lessons and big lessons, which is always the way spirit works. The other thing I thought was very, very interesting, that I was kind of the way that I kind of commune with spirit, talk with spirit about this kind of view of hate that we've had. You remember how in last year I kept saying, keep a journal. I went through this whole string where at the end I would say, keep a journal, remember what you're seeing, observe what you're seeing. And I kept getting that message over and over again. One of the big reasons was because we had a very unique seat to watch what hate can do to people. It was a very unique way to see it play out, see it spread, see it motivate people. Right? Hate could motivate people to do awful things. It can bond people together in a sickness or in a cruelty, meanness. All of these things hate is a real. It can bond people in the way you think, well, love can bond people, but hate can also do that. It's just a different kind of bond. And so I was asking, so we saw this and I got those messages again and again to journal about it. Remember this, watch it, remember what you're seeing. And they were saying because hate is one of those things that when you're bonded through hate with someone, it can follow you through lifetimes, not just this life. It can follow you and follow you and follow you. It's one of those things that creates hard to break karma. So for me, that was huge. And I remembered when I was getting this message, it brought me back to a video where I saw Dolores Cannon talking about this. And she was talking about grudges, but she also talked about hate and said that it would follow you through lifetime. So and now that we're kind of moving to a shift and kind of a new earth, kind of a new way of being, you want to let it go. You want to lessen it being around you or on you, because it will make it harder for you to shift and to move into this different way of this different consciousness that we're all moving into. And I was thinking about the levels of hate and the way that it can sneak up on you. I'm sure we all had days where we hated Donald Trump, hated what he was doing, hated his, and I think hating an action is a little bit different than hating the person. But I think that when you hate a person, it ties you to the person. And so we had also talked about kind of letting that go with Trump. Try not to hate him because it would cling him to us. You could still dislike his actions and think his actions are evil, but try to kind of separate that from the person and tying that to you. I hope this is making sense. But that was kind of the overall message. And I thought about the different ways that it can kind of manifest, and in ways that you kind of didn't think of it manifesting. Hating certain politicians because of what they're doing. And in a way, it's not our job to do that. We don't have to do that. The universe is in a constant state of trying to balance, trying to make things right in a way, So we don't have to really involve ourselves that way. We can keep aware of it. We can do what we can do to help. We can call our senators and get involved in doing whatever we want to do, give money, volunteer, whatever we want to do to help. But to indulge in that is something different. And it's something that we should just be aware of. Just be aware of when it's happening and pull back from it. It's hard. It's hard sometimes, especially when you see evil acts on children or with animals. Those are two big things for me. On the less fortunate, the poor, the needy, people that need our help. And the way that these Republicans are, it's a challenge. It's a challenge every day. Every time I read something, I think, you mean SOB, how can you be like this? But so it's this constant treadmill we're on. And so what we watched was almost like a hate experiment playing out in front of us, letting us observe it and see it and see the awfulness that can come from it, and the even violence. We see that with war and stuff like that, but we got to see it in such a condensed way, and we saw it spread, and we saw it manifest and start to morph into something bigger and more ugly. And so it really was an opportunity for us to step back and see this. Not all of us, some of us were involved, and those people will maybe have an even bigger realization at some point, hopefully, right? So those are the messages I wanted to come to you or bring to you today. Think about them. Sit in meditation with them, and you think of what you think about them, and how can you let go of these things? How can you possibly lean more into connection when it's there, appreciate it more when it's there, and also how you can let go of and move away from hate. Joe Biden showed us how to do this, right? He's such a great example, because he walked in. He, of all people, he knows all the dirt about Trump at this point, all the awful, awful things he did and all the horrible ways he treated the country. And yet he's got his nose to the grindstone. He'll say a fact, like they left us no plan. But he doesn't sit around and tweet about him. He doesn't talk about him. He tells him the other guy to call him by his name. And he just puts his nose to the grindstone and has just gone about fixing things. And here we are being lifted out of this. Had he just come in and just started bashing Trump day after day and just kept on bashing him and put all his attention towards that, it might feel good for a minute, thinking, yeah, that's you, and blah, blah, blah. But it would have gotten us nowhere. It's not enough just to return the hate, right? That doesn't do anything. You switch the hate, or you get rid of the hate by turning yourself to love or to peace. By turning yourself the other way, turning your attention the other way. If your attention is on this, it's going to grow. It's going to get bigger in some way, whether it's in you or in them or whatever, on Facebook or whatever. And you turn away from it, you're shrinking it. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope it does. I'm going to be on later doing a really quick video on some questions people had, but I wanted to get those things to you so you can start thinking about them and just kind of mull them over and think how this has happened in your life, what the changes you've seen in your life, the little things and the big things with hate and connection and separation and those things, what you've learned, how this has come to you. So comment, do give a thumbs up if you like the videos, any videos. Check out the interviews. There's usually something to gain from them. I hope that you like them. They're wonderful people. All of them are wonderful, positive people. So hopefully injects you with a little positivity and happiness. And yeah, comment. If you are interested in classes, I'm going to have my new class up probably next week. So if you haven't taken the first group of classes, you can go to intuitiview.com and see if you're interested. And I will let you know as soon as the next one comes up. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye, guys.